So I wanted to start off this video by talking to you guys for just a little bit. I definitely planned on filming this video today, and unfortunately it kind of ties into some stuff going on in the world, which I'll get into in just a little bit, but I did not plan on watching Room 104 this week. I did not watch last week's episode, but Friday I had some time and it just happened to be on and I wasn't busy and I was like, I guess I'll watch it. When it started out, this episode, I was like, this is really boring, but I ended up really liking it, and it's one of, I think, the best that they've done so far. Again, I did not see the week before, so maybe that was really good. Let me know if I should watch it. But unfortunately, what the lead character was planning to do in this episode is somewhat like what happened in Las Vegas today or overnight in the United States. And first, I just want to say, like, when I woke up and I saw that all over my phone with different breaking news alerts, it just horrifies and sickens me to see that, and it horrifies and sickens me to see and hear about that anytime it happens in the world, which it happens quite a lot anymore, and it's just terrible and awful. And that being said, if you have not watched the episode of Room 104, I suggest you do, because the ending in particular really made me think a lot. So this story was about someone who was going to basically blow up a political convention. I am a little tired of so many different shows wanting to get political and talk about politics, just because, and I've said this before, I feel like entertainment is so important. Like, it's an escape for so many people, even when things in the world seem okay. I think it's a personal escape. I know there's been times in my life where I wasn't very happy, or things were going on with my job at the time, or with friends or relationships, and one thing that I knew I could count on was entertainment, whether that be YouTube videos or movies or TV shows, and literally that might be the only thing that I was looking forward to that day. Not to sound too depressing, but I love and appreciate so much the artistic ability of others. So I like for TV shows and entertainment and things that I watch and listen to be a way to not think about whatever problems I might have or the world is having. So this episode was probably the only one I feel like that's been pretty political. But thankfully they did not tell us which political party this convention was, what was the affiliation of this very young guy. And I think that, of course, they did that on purpose, and a lot of the one theme that rolls throughout this show every single time is that you get to decide what you think happened, what you think happens after this episode ends, what you think they were referring to, or what had happened leading up to this episode involving the characters. So we were left with a very open ending, and I knew, as I figured out what was going on in the tent, I knew we would never find out if he went through with it or not. And I really was interested in the guy who came to work on the air conditioning unit. To me, he did not seem just like your average, like, worker, because he asked so many questions. I kept wondering, like, did he know what was going on? When his partner, who was going to go along with the bombing with him, when he left, I started thinking maybe he alerted people, and for a moment I was like, is this guy like undercover police, FBI, just fishing around? Because he asked so many questions, and I think he kind of knew what was going down, but then at times I thought maybe not, because he seemed a little bit too cool with him. Because I was also wondering, like, was this guy going to kill the air conditioning guy because he was asking too many questions? But what did you think about what was going on there? But the ending really, really, really got to me. And it just kind of gives me chills thinking about it, when the guy, and I don't even know if this is true, because I feel like maybe it's not true, because he knew what this guy with the bad intentions was up to, when he said, like, his son was going to be at this political rally or whatever it was that was going on, demonstration. It's not really that. It's like, basically, I think it was some kind of convention of sorts, or kind of like what led up in the U.S. to the presidential election, when you have like candidates speaking at different places, you know, in the days just prior to the election. That's kind of the impression I was getting was going on, some kind of candidate speech scenario trying to drum up votes. But his son was going to be at this event, and he was like, you know, if you see him, say hi, you know, and it was just like heartbreaking, because I kept wanting the guy, I don't even know the guy's name, the guy who was going to bomb it, to just be like, and he did try to back out, but I just wanted him to be like, I don't think I'm going to go now, or I don't feel well or something. And we were just left with kind of what I was expecting. We were left with the unknown. Did he go through with it? Did it get to him at all? Like the human side, like, hey, you may be after this one candidate, or maybe you're mad at some of the supporters, but there's a real people, maybe your goal is just to kill this candidate, and I think from the dialogue we can imagine, I feel like they were alluding to a certain person that all of us know and know of, but I don't want to get into that because, like I said, I hate to get into political stuff here, but you know what I'm talking about, I'm sure. But it's like, I don't know if he just intended to hurt this one candidate. But of course, with a bomb, you're not just going to hurt one person. He was going to kill a lot of people, injure a lot of people, change so many lives. So there's never any sense behind any kind of act of violence like that. You may destroy the person you're after, but you do so much more harm, and you may destroy it. No one's life is worth, no matter what you believe politically, it's never okay to justify that with violence and say, well, we're better off without this person, so I'm going to take them out or whatever. So it was just wrong on so many levels. Unfortunately, things like that have happened in this country and other countries, where maybe one person or a couple people are the target, but they have to go to like crazy lengths to pull off trying to kill that person, so other people, sometimes many, many other people, die and get injured as a result, So it's just bizarre from a timing standpoint that I was planning on doing this video, but unfortunately it connects somewhat to someone crazily murdering a bunch of innocent people in Las Vegas, sadly. But anyway, I wanted to know what you thought about the episode and what was your take on it. I personally decided not to make up my mind about whether or not he went through with it because I kind of don't want to know, because if he did, obviously, and we know this didn't really happen, but it would just have been really disturbing if I knew that he did go through with it. Any type of situation like that is just hard to watch. I think sometimes those types of shows, or that when that is talked about or discussed in a movie and a show, is harder for me to watch than when I watch like people being murdered on TV. Not that it's okay, but it's like American Horror Story when people are just being like murdered one by one or whatever. It feels like, to me, it hits home more when it's like stuff that is, I don't know, on a larger scale. And I was going to say stuff that sadly could happen to any of us, where we could be in one of these situations where someone bombs the place, just a concert or a music festival. But unfortunately, you could be in a situation where someone just kills you, whether you know them or not, because it's just unfortunately a crazy world. So I didn't mean to bring you down more today, but I didn't feel like I could do this video and not mention what was going on in real life because of the way that it kind of connects, unfortunately. But anyway, I don't know if I'll continue watching this series, and I just happened to watch it and happened to like it. And that's the only reason I'm doing the video on this episode, which I'd planned on doing it. I just didn't have time this weekend, and I plan to do it today. So I really don't know if I'm gonna keep watching the show, because you just never know. It doesn't mean that next week's is gonna be good, but next week's could be phenomenal. I'm kind of just waiting, basically, like, if you guys are still watching it, and if you tweet me or comment on one of my videos and say, this week's episode was so good, you should check it out. So I'm asking you, like, if the week before's episode was worth me watching and doing a video on, let me know. Otherwise, I'm probably not going to watch it. And I will just kind of play it out by ear the rest of the season. It's not a show that I really like that much. I think you guys know. I really loved the first episode. I thought this one was good, this week's episode. But I don't have a lot of hope and faith in it for the future. But just let me know your thoughts about this episode, and I appreciate you taking the time to listen to me, and know that I won't be doing a lot of videos like this where I'm getting really deep and talking about unfortunate events, but that is our reality. But for the most part on here, I like to not focus on that and to have a place for everyone to feel safe and to escape and to be happy, because that's what life is all about, to be happy and enjoy as much of it as you can. So thank you so much for watching this episode of Kelly TV, and I will see you tomorrow with a new video. Bye, guys. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Kelly TV. I would love for you to subscribe and be a part of the Kelly TV family. Also, don't forget to follow me on Twitter so you can keep up with all I'm doing.